Hello everyone, my name is Trish Lynch from IOHR in London. Thank you for being with us for another episode of our Human Rights TV. Dr. Ahmadreza Djalali, the Swedish Iranian academic and an expert in emergency disaster medicine, was in the capital after being invited for a scientific workshop at the University of Tehran when he was picked up by agents of Iran's Ministry of Intelligence on the 24th of April 2016. He was held in solitary confinement without access to a lawyer for several months before being convicted on the basis of a forced confession and sentenced to death. With us today via Skype is his wife Vida Mehrannia. She is a biochemist at the University of Uppsala. She is currently a resident of Sweden, where she lives with her two children, a 15-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. Vida Mehrannia, thank you very much for joining us via Skype today. Now, your husband, Dr. Djalali, frequently travelled to Iran for conferences and workshops to do with his work. But tell me what was different about April in 2016 when he was arrested.
He went to Iran for workshop about 2 years ago, and first week he was in Iran. After 1 week, he arrested him by security intelligence in Iran, and we didn't know about him for 10 days. Where is he and what happened for him? And after 10 days, his family understand he arrested during his driving from Tehran to other city very close to Tehran, and he arrested. From that time until now, he's in Evin prison.
Now, I know he was in solitary confinement for the first 3 months, and then it was 7 months before he even had access to a lawyer. And in that time, he was tortured into making 2 false confessions. And I know that Amnesty International have said that his confession was done under psychological torture and a grossly unfair trial. Do you think there is any possibility of getting a fair trial in the revolutionary courts?
At the moment, I hope he can get it, but until now he didn't have it, and he was 3 months exactly in the isolation, and he didn't access to lawyer for more than 7 months, and he did confess because they put him in the pressure, and also they told to him they will release him immediately after make him this movie. And after make a movie, and also that movie also never confessed he had a collaboration with Israel and Mossad and other also. The blame was being for a spy for Mossad. Refused it. He never had say he had collaboration with Israel and other European also organization. Never had. Just he said about the one European company. They introduced themselves as a disaster medicine company, and asked him, "Do you access to some classified data in Iran?" He told them no. He was refused, and because he didn't access to any data in Iran, he was the classified project. And just because if you access to any data, classified data in Iran, never you can go to Iran and come back. It's not possible. And just they ask, and that movie also he explained about that some company asked me, but never they show his answer. Just other voice say about he had collaboration with Mossad, and he had the collaboration for assassination.
So it was only one side of the story, but it made
Yes.
him look badly.
Yes.
Let's talk about the psychological pressure that your husband has been under, because he's had 3 months in solitary confinement, he's been tortured, and we know that he staged a hunger strike. Tell me how he is mentally and physically. How is he?
because they put him a lot of pressure without see his family for 3 months. After 3 months, also they put him in isolation, and also they said, tell to him they will treated his they treated him by his family. In Sweden, and also said about we arrested your family in Sweden. And also after also inspectors say about your sentences is death penalty, and every time say to him, and he was under a lot of pressure and start hunger strike, and after get treated by inspectors, and said about he had 2 times hunger strike, 43 days one time and 44 days other time, just he had distance between them 1 week, and he lost weight about 30 kilograms. After that time, after stop hunger strike, he cannot eat anything, and for a long time he was also sick.
And because what happens when he goes on hunger strike? Does anything change afterwards, or is it just business as usual?
And just they promised to him they will review his case.
Okay.
But he after that time also they put him because they told also to him you need to change your lawyer. And he didn't accept, and he started hunger strike for that reason. And but after that time also they didn't review really his case, and they didn't do anything, and just had a trial court for 3 hours, and during 3 hours he had 300 pages evidence, and show he was innocent, but they didn't attention for his evidence, and just ignore that his evidence. And
so you had 300 pages, but none of it was ever used. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Tell me what the Swedish government have been doing to help your husband, because I know that they recently granted him Swedish nationality. Has that helped?
I hope that helped, because at the moment he's Swedish, and but until now is not changed his case really, because at the moment he got 3 times death penalty and death sentence, and also his health is getting worse and worse every day. And because at the moment he's 56 kilograms, and his tall is 175, and he lose a lot of weight, about more than 25 kilograms, and without doing any test and any examine for what happened for him, because about 2 years he is under mental pressure and also psychological pressure, I think.
Behind me here I have an excerpt from the letter that your husband wrote while he was in prison to the Iranian authorities, and it says, "In a condition of deep depression, fear and hopelessness, I was forced to transcribe thoughts and ideas fabricated by the investigators in a formulated structure for all of my confessions." Tell me what you feel when you hear that.
Because they put my husband about 2 years under a lot of pressure, and he wrote a lot of letter to Rouhani, our president in Iran, and also for judiciary, Mr. Larijani, and also human rights. Head of the human right in Iran, Larijani, exact this letter, and they explain his situation, because for several times I also wrote a letter sent to them, and but until now we didn't really got any answer from them, because at the moment he needs help, because they fabricated his case really, but they didn't attention, and they didn't care until now. And for this reason, my husband want to share in the media his letter.
Many governments advise the families of detainees to keep a low profile in the early days because they think it might be better for those behind bars. You waited 9 months before you went public with the fact that your husband had been arrested. What were you advised to do, and why did you wait 9 months?
Because in 9 months they told to my husband just they will ask some question and they will release him very soon, and we are waiting to release him as soon as possible. After 9 months, we understand they don't want to release him, and he treated by inspectors and they told your sentence is death penalty, and we will execute it you as soon as possible. And I want to share and everything in media and say what happened for my husband.
At IOHR, we have some frightening research which shows that as many as 30 dual nationals have been incarcerated in Iranian jails, and that's in the past 2 years. And that's just of the people that we know about. Tell me why you think dual nationals are being used as bargaining chips.
I cannot say they are related to each other, but I think for my husband case, because my husband also in Europe asked for collaboration, and also in Iran also they had the same collaboration with Iranian, and at the moment I think his field is important, and they thinking about he had collaboration, but without any evidence and any reference, they put my husband in the prison.
Saeed Malikpour was a permanent resident of Canada, and he was sentenced to death, and after a global campaign it was commuted to life imprisonment. Are you hopeful that something like this could happen with your husband if the international community get behind it, or better still, a full pardon?
The case is different, I think. My husband is a scientist in the university, and a lot of science community support him, and also Saeed Malikpour also he got help from Canada. I hope he can get support and better conditions at the moment, because he got Swedish citizenship, and for release him. We hope the Iranian authority release him as soon as possible after understand his innocence, and without any evidence they cannot put him for a long time in the prison.
You have a young family, you have a young son and a young daughter. What do they think about their father's situation, and what are you doing to keep them positive?
For my daughter is teenager at the moment. She's 15 years, and she understands his dad situation, and he misses that, because for a long time we cannot see him, and we cannot go and visit him in the Iran, and it's not possible. But my son doesn't know anything about my husband's case, and he thinking he went to Iran for job and will come back, but he missed a lot of also that, and every time he asked me, I want to he come back and join us, because at the moment I don't have daddy, and I cannot answer his question. But I can say he will come back as soon as possible. His birthday told I want to invite my dad to my birthday, and also in when he was going to school, because he's a first grade, and say why I cannot go with my dad every day to school is so difficult for me, and support them, because I also emotionally have a lot of problems at the moment. because our family under a lot of pressure.
Tell me how you keep the campaign going and raise awareness. Do you use social media? Is social media the main tool that you use to keep the case alive?
My husband case campaign support by university from Sweden and also Belgium and Italy, and also by Amnesty, and all of them support my husband, and also science community in the world, in US and also UK, and a lot of human rights activists support my husband campaign.
Vida Mehrannia, thank you for joining us, and we hope for a positive breakthrough in your husband's case.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on another episode of IOHR TV, putting human rights into focus. Please keep up to date on our social media feeds, or you can see many other videos and interviews on our website. Until next time, goodbye.